So hello everybody. Welcome to the last class for this stage and literally your last class for the internship. So for today's class, this class will be a rather quick one. I'm just going to walk you through the expectations for your final project. So we were able to give so basically you're expected to like choose between two of the projects that are listed there. So between the Amazon project and the Coca-Cola project, and we've sort of been able to give those that will be working on the Amazon project a head start. So we utilize Selenium to scrape the Amazon website. Let me just quickly share my screen so you get a visual of what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, so I believe that you can see my screen, and basically what we're expecting you to do is to scrape this website for books. So you can't really, so if we open let me see, let's try to open one of the books here, some of these bestsellers. You can see some of the reviews. You can see some of the product details. You can see how many ratings we have for this particular product. Let's see the author and things like that. So it's you being able to like tell how many users have bought a book might not be feasible, but what we expect from you is that you're going to scrape these books, scrape the ratings, scrape the I mean, we don't want 20 books or 50 books, at least 100 books, right? So at least 100 books is what we're looking at. I want you to scrape these books as well as the various details on these books, and then run an analysis to see like what factors tend to contribute to good ratings. Okay. So we've seen the ratings here. That means you're also going to be pulling these ratings. You want to get a sense of what factors contribute. I mean, when you have your full list of books that you have scraped, right? So you're going to now do a comparison. I mean, do an analysis, take a look at I don't need to mention the features that you are going to be looking at. There are a number of features here. Scrape as many features as you know that you will need for a particular book, right? So that is the expectation for this particular project. And then for the second project, which is the Coca-Cola financial results, we have this here. And so we have up to 1990 here and even up to 2024. So if you open, let me open, let's say 2019. So we see for the financial year, fiscal year, right? 28, we have the following reports here. So this, if you open this link, you'll find out that we have a bunch. I think this will get downloaded. Anyway, this is something that you can scrape, right? But we've not looked at XML files, scraping XML files, but this is equally something that can be scraped to get the information that you're looking for, right? But we would, I mean, you can explore this for your own learning, right? You can definitely explore what it would be like to scrape XML files and how the process tends to differ from HTML. You would need, so for the other, I'll go to VS Code now. But when we were scraping, let's say I import BS4, from BS4 imports beautiful soup. So let's say I don't have anything that I'm scraping right now, but let's assume I have something that I have sent a request to of some form. I've gotten a response. Lots of times when we do this and we specify the text the text attribute of the response that we've gotten, we are using the implicit, like we're implicitly using the parser, the HTML parser, right? So sometimes you have to specify the parser that you want to use with beautiful soup. So, and because a lot of times we are scraping HTML documents, so the parser that we tend to use can be the HTML.parser, right? But then there are other parsers. There's the LXML parser that allows us to scrape documents like this, right? XML files. Okay. So you can explore that. That is something that you can explore. But another route that you would want to take is let's see. Like I said yesterday, there's this file. So which is basic. I think I have one opened here already. So let's now go through process of opening that up. So I have this here opened up as a spreadsheet already. Basically, when you download this, that's what you're going to get, right? So if you open that up, mm, sorry, I think I have a couple of things mixed up. I'm coming. Okay, okay. So yes, when you download the spreadsheet, right, it's basically an Excel spreadsheet. You can open it with Google Sheets, that's fine. That's what I'm opening it with. And then you see that there are a couple of worksheets here. There are a couple of sheets within the worksheet here. And I've told us that we should focus on consolidated statements of income, right? And so one thing that you can do is I would not recommend doing this manually. So you're supposed to scrape a bunch of documents so you're supposed to scrape all these documents from, let's say we want to do it from 2011 to 2024. You have learned to use Python in this internship. So no, we are not expecting that you come and be downloading these things one by one. It makes sense when you're just trying to have a view of the data and work with it. We expect that you would write some code that would scrape this, get the links from this website for you, and then go ahead and read it. Okay. So if I want to do that, I'll try that out. Let's see how that will look if we want to try it out with just 1 year. So let's stick with the Okay. So let's get a sense of what the texts we have is. We can pass this with beautiful soup. Let's do that and see what we have. So like we talked about, sometimes you need to specify the parser. So we will do that. And let's see what we have if we run this. So let's try to figure out, okay, let's try to figure out, there should be a consistent naming pattern to these red boxes, right? So these elements. So let's try and figure that out. Let's see. Okay, so we have box quarterly results. Okay. So what I did was, I'll just quickly explain what I did, guys. I mean, we've gone through web scraping, so I believe you understand what I've done. So basically, I used the div element, and then I decided to use an attribute just so I can cut down to the specific elements we're working with. So you see that there are IDs specified for this, right? So I decided to use the ID attribute and the corresponding value of that attribute and pick what we want. And now we can drill down and see what we want. So 2018, that's what we're looking at. So now I want us to get the link, this link, right? So basically we'll come here. I think this is the link we're looking at. There's a pool right here. There's a title, download raw XBRL files. There's title XBRL spreadsheet, and that's what we want. So we can decide to find the A element and using the title attribute, right? So let's do that. So I'm just chaining the commands that I want to work with basically. So I'm doing this. So the attribute should be the title. So yeah, it's definitely giving us this. So let's pick out what we can do now is pick out the think the yeah, I think this is it. Let's see. Okay. So we've been able to get the link basically. So this is what we expect you to do for the number of years that you're working with. And then once you've done that, Pandas has a, so once you're able to get this spreadsheet, right? Naturally, the next thing that you want to do is to try and read it and then narrow down to the sheet that you're working with. And for that, Pandas has a library. The redex, yeah, I said a library, sorry, I meant a method. Pandas has a method that allows us to work with it, right? So we have the read Excel method, and you can specify like the file as well as specify the file as well as like the sheet that you want to read. So we can go ahead and pick. So before you do that, one thing you want to do is you want to install the engine that will be used to read like the Excel sheet, right? So that is, let's see, let's scroll down. So this is the engine that you want to use for this. And before you're going to specify it here, so like PD read Excel, you need to make sure that you have it installed in your environment, right? So pip install .py.xl, and then yeah. So I already have it installed in my environment actually. So, but then for you, you need to install it. It can be easy to forget because you're not importing it, but you won't be able to use it to access that engine from your read Excel method if you have not installed it. So you specify the engine, um, specify the link that you want to read. So in our case, right, let's make this the link. So now what you see is the first table, the first sheet, right, is what you get. If I go back to that spreadsheet that we had, basically, this is it, although this is for 2015, but they all have a certain similarity to them, right? So this is the first thing that you get to read. But we can specify that, we can either specify the specific sheet that we want, or we can specify that we want to read all sheets, depending on like what you want. So I'm going to specify this. Okay, I'll pick sheet. So since this is the sheet 0, this is sheet 1, I'll go ahead and specify that we want to read. So this has picked the consolidated statements of income for us. So you do your cleaning, you try and do the cleaning that you need to do to get this working fine. Okay. Let's see. Let me run this fully and see what this looks like. So that, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It's pretty easy cleaning that can be done. I mean, there are no dollar signs in this at all. So it's Looks good compared to the other one. I mean, if I run the first one, yeah, same thing. Okay, I think 2018 was formatted a bit better. So, but at the end of the day, what you're working with is not, you're just going to work with this. Basically, we want you, so a lot of the fields that you find here are going to like continue across the various documents. So this is what you're comparing. You want to understand the revenue across the various years for like the financial, at the end of the financial year, 2017, 2018, you're comparing the revenue that was made across those years. You're comparing the cost of goods and services, all of these things here. We want to see, want to get a sense of what's like what Coca-Cola's strengths and weaknesses are, the areas that they have improved over the years. That's basically what this is about. So, like I said, we don't expect, this is sort of an immersive project. So you're going through the whole process, data curation, data cleaning, everything, and your final results, visualization and analysis, right? And of course, you're telling a good story because please and please, one thing that is very important whenever you're doing whenever you're running analysis on your work, or whenever you're trying to present your findings from your analysis, define your data, right? Reference your, have your, number one, define your data, right? Define like, when I mean define your data, I mean like basically have a dictionary, have some form of dictionary that tells us in my data set, this is what this means and this is what this means. So if I see revenues, if I see gross profit, if I see operating income, I don't really understand what these things are. I mean, you're trying to communicate to me and I don't really know what these things are. Whatever columns, whatever like rows you finally decide to settle with, right? You need to be able to explain, just have a file. It could be a JSON file, it could be a text file, it could be a README, but you should have a file where you talk about your data sets and you define the various like columns and the fields within your data set. It's important for anybody that would pick up your project and look at it. They know that you know what you're talking about. And the second thing too, yes, I've already talked about a README is important. A README is important. A lot of you submitted GitHub links and there were no READMEs, like you're just submitting the link, the project. It's okay if it's your personal project that you don't want to explain to anybody. But if you're submitting a project and that is to be so, because I would want to run it and see that this is working fine as you have submitted. But I don't have a README that is telling me, oh, okay, you can run this on Google Colab, or no, these are the libraries you would need to install to run this, and things like that. So if someone picks up this, right, one thing that you're going to find out is that if these things are not installed in your environment, you can't run this, right? So, and then it becomes a problem for someone that doesn't know, maybe has never interacted with Python, but they just want to, they're intrigued by your visuals and they just want to run it and set it up on their end. You have not provided any instructions whatsoever. That is what a README is for. A README is literally going to tell the user, before you run this, pip install this, do this, do this, do this. Or you're literally going to say, okay, because there are some libraries and packages that work with certain Python versions. So you might also want to specify the Python version you're working with in your README, that, oh, this is the Python version I worked with. And in case somebody with a lower Python version picks it up and for some reason the library is not working, the person can reference your README and see that you had specified that this is the version that you worked with. So whatever issues they're experiencing is to be expected. These are some of the good software practice. It doesn't matter that you are an analyst or that you are a data engineer or that you're a data scientist. These are good software practices to pick up, right? And that will help you in your journey with Python. you need to specify, always have a good README. If you're working, and yes, another thing I wanted to point out, right, still along the lines of defining your data and like having a data dictionary, is don't submit a notebook that you are referencing data that is in your local, like within your local system, your computer. So I submit, um, a lot of times you will see that with the notebooks I share with you, I tend to have so I will pick, let me see, I don't have any CSV file here. But let's, for some reason, imagine that I want to reference this YAML file. I would rather pick the relative path, right? So I would just, let's say, I want to do something like this. I would rather pick the relative path, right? So that I'm not getting the full system path. If you will see my whole everything, the full path, we don't like my from everything, from the roots to whatever, right? You're literally just putting everything there. It doesn't really make sense. And aside the fact that it doesn't make sense to put all of that information out there, you don't put your data sets in a place where someone else can pick it up. Please, with this project you're going to be submitting, remember you're doing this so that you can equally put it on your resume, like this is something that you have worked, this is something you're proud of and you've worked on, right? So you want to put the data set alongside your GitHub, like alongside the files that you'll be submitting in your repo. So if you're submitting your notebook, you should also have data sets there. And that way you can easily reference like a relative path because they'll all be within the same directory, right? So you can easily just reference the file name alone, basically, and it would work. Or if you have the data set inside another folder and you just reference that folder and then the data, that too would work. You don't need to give us the full path to that file. So these are some things that please you guys need to take note of even as you continue to work on more projects on your own. Okay. So basically, yeah, I was saying that you can reference this and then you go ahead and yeah, that's it basically. So what I expect you to do is there's going to be merging of the rest of the tables that you're going to be getting from the various years. So that is to be expected. However you're going to do it, if you're going to be merging the tables, I mean, it makes sense to merge. This is what we talked about. Sometimes you have to collate data from various sources. If you want to do some validation, this is even an avenue for you to practice validating your data. So you will notice that this is for the year 2018, but we have data for 2019. This is December 2019, right? Let me see. Okay, this is document. Let's go back to the statement. Oh, I think I have it opened somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I have this for December 2018. I have this for February 15. Oh, still referencing the wrong thing. December 31st and December 31st, 2018, 2017, and 2016. So this is an avenue for you to validate like these values. So for their financial like statements, right? They have released this is for 2018. We pulled the document that was released in 2018 and it's giving us 2018 and 2 prior years. So when you pull that of 2017, you can equally run a check to see that the values stayed the same. If they don't stay the same, right, so like the most recently released year. So this is more recent than what was released in 2017 for 2017. So let's say I have a disparity here and with the other documents. I can as well just pick what I have here. Okay, so because we are just going to be assuming that there was an update, that this is an avenue, this is basically an avenue for them to update like wrong values. So that's something that you want to do. You want to validate the data. These are things that I want to see in the project that you're submitting, please and please. Okay, so that's it for this Coca-Cola project. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so from this that you did now, like I think I had the same question yesterday, but I just wanted to point it out again that the 2000 and the data they asked us to scrape is from 2009 to 2019. So on the website, 2009 and 2010 does not have XBRL or something file.
Let me see. Okay, 2009.
2009.
I see. Okay, for that, yeah, it's fine to skip 2009. I don't expect you to work on the PDFs. It's doable, but when is this cohort? When is this stage ending?
Tuesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, I think I would say you can skip 2009. So pick it up from which years did, okay, 2010 doesn't have, 2011 doesn't have as well. Okay, 2011 has. 2011, I think going forward, it should have as well. Okay, yeah. So pick it from 2011 to 2023, right? So this doesn't have a fiscal year ended yet. This is just a quarter-based report, but this is for the full year. So pick it from 2011 to 2023. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So any other questions?
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
So please, the Amazon books, what features do you say we're supposed to look out for again? Because I noticed some books don't even have genres and prices and things like that.
So this is basic. This is to your discretion. You're at this point, right? You should be able to figure out like what you want to. I've already specified that I want you to try to compare certain features of the books, right? Now, these features are up to you. What features do you want to compare? Do you think that pages have some form of correlation, like with the ratings? Do you think the genres have some form of correlation with the ratings? So that's something that you would need to decide. You're the one that will decide what features you want to pick and then go ahead and pick them. So you're saying that some books don't have genres. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they don't have
Yeah,
genres.
I think they do. Let's see.
So what I did was I altered the URL to show specific years. So it gave me a listing of all the books grouped in years. And based on that, when I look through some, there are no genres.
But some do have. Some have,
Yeah,
but some don't
some
have.
some have, but some don't.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I would
that
suggest focusing on those that have,
okay.
right? Yes, that's what I would
But then
suggest.
thing is, when you focus on those that have and you try to put all of it in a data frame, because the lengths of the columns don't match up, it can't be possible to put in one data frame, and you don't know exactly where um like what indexes don't have genres for their books.
I mean, there's a reason data analysts and data scientists say that 90% of the time is spent on data cleaning. So that's a cleaning stage for you. You get to decide. I get what you're saying, right? So not everyone is going to, the details are basic, product details are not the same, right? That's what you're saying. So
Yes.
product details are not the same, but you get to pick what details you want to focus. So you can filter out the details you don't want. You can set null values to details that are not available. Do you get? So,
Okay.
but as you're scraping, you just need to be sure. Now, that's another thing too that I didn't mention. One thing that I like to do if I have to scrape, it can seem like a lot, but I like to scrape this like I can easily do maybe I pick whatever like element is covering this and I get the full text, right? And I now decide to use some regex to do this based on white spaces or whatever. That works as well. Or I can decide that I want to go tag by tag because I know each of these elements will have a tag. I prefer the second approach because it gives me like freedom to set certain values to null. So if these things are not available, and it also helps me to, so some, I can open this website, this is the order. I can open this page now, this is the order for this page. I open another page and the order is different, right? So if I was going with the first approach, my data will be messed up and I won't have valid data at the end of the day, right? And there's no way for me to check that. But if I go in like element by element, because I want to focus on each of this, right? So let's see. So I'm going in like this. So basically they're all list items, right? So all part of this unordered list, I think, yeah, that's the elements name for this. So I can go in and pick each of them as opposed to so I can pick them as key value pairs as opposed to just, I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to have some form of control so that you can declare some things to be missing when they are missing, basically.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so any other questions?
Yes, actually, I do have one question to ask, or
Okay,
clarification rather.
okay.
So, as this section was moved back, this section is supposed to had it on Tuesday. So, my question is the deadline of submission of our work. Are we going
Your
to still maintain the deadline that is on Tuesday on 18, on Wednesday, on 18 Wednesday? Are we going to still maintain the deadline for submission of our work?
Yes, yes, you're definitely still going to maintain the deadline.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So that's it for this class for today. So in the absence of any other questions, I mean, I always say that you should feel free to ask your questions in the Slack channel and among yourselves, because you're not meant to do this stuff on your own. You're not meant to copy, right? You're meant to figure it out on your own, yes, but you're not, if you're struggling, you should also reach out for help. So that's it. Um, so thank you everyone. We'll end the class here for today. Thank you guys. I wish you the best with your project and with your capstone project as well.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.